Thank you, Christian. Hopefully now you can hear me okay. And it's always a pleasure for me to be able to talk about Israel because it's something I'm absolutely passionate about. So I'm just going to walk you through a few highlights of what you can expect when you come to visit Israel. And happy to answer, of course, any questions, and nothing is off the table in that sense. So feel free to fire anything at us. So first of all, we understand that if you come to apply for a job and to apply for a founder position at AION Labs, you're trusting us with your future in Israel. Israel is a great place to build your future, especially in the biotech space, especially in the scientific and innovation career. As Yair mentioned, you'll be launching your own biotech company with all the support of the AION Labs partners and team, but also with the ecosystem in general, in the best possible environment. You could do that with a built-in product market fit, with the best partners in the industry as co-design partners from day one that will help you to develop your technology and tailor it to be an excellent product and a dream collaboration partner with leading leaders of the industry. As far as life in Israel, so you get 320 days of sun at least every single year. I don't know where you all come from, but that's not to be taken for granted. Additionally to that, not only do you get access to healthcare, but it's excellent healthcare, very efficient healthcare, and it's affordable and accessible for everyone living here. For those that are foodies, it's a great culinary scene, very diverse from all over the globe, from different types of food from all over the globe, especially, and of course, the Mediterranean food that's local to Israel. It's, especially in days, and this is starting to come back now that COVID's waning, it is a heaven for tourists. Those that want to come here and have fun, those that want to come here and dive, those that want to come here and enjoy the desert or enjoy nature and hiking, and of course, those that want to come for religious purposes or for historical purposes. Really, there's so much to do here, and every time I go to visit somewhere in Israel, I learn something new, even if I've been there umpteen times. And it's a very open and welcoming society here. And for those that look to socialize with expat communities, there is quite a large one here in Israel. But even if you don't want to live in the expat community, the Israeli society is very welcoming to people coming from outside. We want you here. We want to integrate you into society in Israel. And it's very easy to make friends and to have a good social life. It's also centrally located, for those who know the history. So it's called the Middle East because we are in the middle of the world. So you can actually access by a direct flight that's relatively short, especially now that you can, with the Abraham Accords, that you can fly directly over any country from Israel. You can reach Australia relatively easily. You can reach the Far East in Asia relatively quickly. India is only a 6-hour flight from Israel. And of course, the US is easily accessible with direct flights, as well as all of Europe is at your fingertips. Working environment in Israel is very open, vibrant. That's the way we also built our facilities here at AION Labs, but it's a very vibrant ecosystem here, informal and direct, fun, and very dynamic. So there's not a lot of hierarchy, for better for worse, but a lot of respect for seniority and experience, but on the other hand, very open and culturally dynamic. Just a few facts. We're not going to go through each one of these, but Israel has many languages that are spoken here. But for those that speak English, everybody will want to show you how great their English is. So you don't have to worry about learning Hebrew before coming here. It's actually one of the biggest complaints I get from people coming abroad, that they have a hard time learning Hebrew because everyone wants to show off their English. We are a country that's not so small anymore. We're close to 10 million people, on the verge of 10 million people. It's like a mid-sized European country by now, so it's not as small as it used to be, but geographically it's relatively small, so you can reach everywhere in a relatively short drive or train ride. And we are the home to multiple faiths from around the world, with a very open, progressive, and respectful society, with a great innovation ecosystem, with over 50 unicorns in Israel, and almost every other week there's a new one that's evaluated at over $1 billion, including relatively recently in the life sciences space and AI for drug discovery and development. And on that note, so Israel is well known as a scientific powerhouse in life sciences specifically. We are ranked as the fifth most innovative country on the Bloomberg Index, with high levels of scientific output. We have huge amount of computer scientist graduates and PhDs that finish their PhD every single year and are very well integrated into the European Horizon programs, and even our members of EMBL for those who come from Europe. So Israel is a place that's very well connected with the greater scientific society. And AION Labs specifically is at the center of Israel. So you can reach from our lab here in Rehovot, which is basically the equivalent of a suburb of Tel Aviv, which is the main and largest city of Israel. You can reach Tel Aviv in a 30-minute drive or a very short train ride, where door to door you can be from your apartment or house in Tel Aviv to our lab, which is literally above the train station here in Rehovot in around 40 minutes. Jerusalem is a 50-minute drive from AION Labs. You can go ski up in the north in a 4-minute drive, and you can go to some of the best diving in the world in Eilat in a 4-minute drive down south, or even cross the border to see Petra with an extra 2 hours if you'd like. Rehovot, where we chose to put AION Labs and open it, is the biotech center of Israel. So it is the place where 30% of biotech companies in Israel are based out of. Again, it's about a 30, 40-minute ride from Tel Aviv, so it's basically a suburb. But we are situated here in Rehovot across the street, or some would say above, since we're on the 17th floor, the Weizmann Institute. So when you're in the wet lab that we have here on the premises, you'll be overlooking the Weizmann Institute of Sciences, which is on par with any of the leading academic scientific centers in the world. I'm not going to go through all the ranks here, but you can see them and they speak for themselves. And our offices, we don't show pictures because we want you to get the effect in person, but we were able to design very nice offices here in Israel. In AION Labs in Rehovot, we have basically 2/3 of a full floor, again, above the train station overlooking the Weizmann Institute, where we have a wet lab set up for the usage of the teams, as well as a computational lab that where all the startups will sit, in a common area, fun area, community area, as well as the adjacency right next door to our venture capital partner. We have the proximity to them to be able, and the closeness to be able to go back and forth and work on your business models and seek advice, both for funding and how to build your business model going forward. In Tel Aviv, I'm just going to leave with this. It's named the city that never sleeps, and it truly doesn't. On any day of any week, no matter if it's a school night or not, you walk around the city and you're amazed that, wondering how come people don't have to wake up the next day to go to work, because they're out at the bars. They're always packed. It's hard to get a reservation for a restaurant. But the bars are always open, and since the weather is nice, so there's a lot of outdoor seating as well. There's a great cultural scene here for those that are into philharmonics and the opera and theater, etc. as well. But it is truly a very fun city right on the beach of the Mediterranean, which is fun to swim in and accessible in most days of the years to be able to do so. So that's it. We do encourage you, follow us on AION Labs, follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Be in touch with us. We're very accessible as a team. And with that, I'll hand it back to our Master of Ceremonies, the Maestro, Christian.